All right, guys, welcome back. It's the new year. Finally back making videos again. Today we're going to do a reaction video, another Hassan Piker reaction video, or as I like to call him, Hamas Piker, because we obviously know Hassan is a very big fan of Hamas. I have this what I would say is weird gift where I can tell when someone is a bad person, even when they pretend to be doing good. I will be making a video also on Mama Max and the whole situation that unfolded recently, and now he's been a fraud. It's kind of funny every time I make a video on these people. Like, I believe I've made 2 videos on Hassan before, and the very first one was like dislike to shit. I don't even think I had a single like on that video. And the second one I made was very well disliked as well, when I thought that what I said was very reasonable about Hamas Piker, which is what Kamal, who we are going to be watching today, talks about. He makes the exact same points that I've made about Hassan. But without too much talking, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Hassan Piker is my least favorite person on the internet.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
So today we're going to be making fun of Hassan and his loser-ass fans because they're hypocritical
human trash.
And I think they suck. And I'm going to prove that.
And he's not wrong there. He's not wrong. If you are an actual Hamas Piker fan, you are just as terrible as he is. Because you cannot be a fan of Hassan when he says shit like the U.S. deserved 9/11. It's like me if I say, well, the Palestinians deserve what's happening to them right now. Everybody would look at me like I'm some sort of monster, or at least Hamas would. But saying that America deserved 9/11 somehow makes you a good person.
That I'm right with video evidence. So buckle up.
Just because you're woke doesn't change the reality that you are being a f***ing douchebag.
It's gonna be a fun one, so let's get started. If you're unaware of who Hassan Piker is, first off, God bless. But Hassan Piker is the biggest political streamer on Twitch right now. Grandma Twitch.
Is he still the biggest though? Because he's been losing followers left and right. So has Destiny not surpassed him yet at this point?
Twitch is a platform where you can watch live streams. And live streams are like YouTube videos, but live, like TV was. Hassan is a hardworking man, I gotta give him that. He's streaming every day, like 10 hours a day, and now he has an audience that's bigger than the BBC. Not that kind, but this kind. Pause. Now, if you didn't know, Hassan is not just any political streamer, but he is a socialist. Very left.
Yeah, he's a socialist in name only. Sino?
Leaning, that is the right. Very left-leaning political streamer. One that loves to virtue signal about eating the rich and workers' rights and how everybody should have the means of production and blah 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 blah. Which is all fine and good if you're into that sort of thing. Not a message for everybody in this country, but I would assume that we can all agree that if you're going to preach these things as violently as Hassan does,
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy.
Yeah, that's wild. Because people shouldn't be allowed to own property. You shouldn't own a property even though he owns a $3 million mansion. But I guess the difference that he would tell you is the difference between him and landlords is that he's not renting out his property to other people, which, okay, but if landlords aren't going to rent out to other people, then where are they going to live? And again, they would argue, well, it should be on the government. The government should seize all these properties and just let people live for free, because obviously we grow money on trees and everything is just magical. It comes from the fairy fucking godmother. That's where it comes from.
Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
then you should at the very least live by those rules, right? Like, I would assume that's fair. Yeah, he doesn't do that shit. One of my favorite Hassan moments that I think just sums him up perfectly is when he was on stream watching a house tour from my personal favorite E-celeb, Sniper Wolf. And of course he's gonna be talking about like how excessive it is, how nobody needs a house like this.
Dude, this is like unimaginable wealth, dude. How the f do people make this much money? $2.9 million near Las Vegas? Dude, oh my fucking lord, dude.
And then less than a month later, he buys a house even more expensive than the one in the video, dude.
Yeah, because that's how socialists live. He's kind of like, not kind of. It's funny watching the people who are actual socialists they tend to be more middle class, upper middle class, and sometimes even rich people who say, eat the rich and the workers' rights and they should have the means of productions. And then they go and do shit like this, like buy $3 million homes off of the backs of the people they're supposed to be championing for. Like Bernie Sanders used to say, the millionaires and billionaires, and then he published a book, became a millionaire, and stopped mentioning the millionaires. It just became the billionaires. And he also owns 3 homes. But yeah, this is how these people live. It's hypocritical. Like, who needs that much, right? And goes and does the exact same shit. Buys a $3 million home. Who needs that much, Hassan? According to you, nobody needs this much. Why did you buy a home that's worth $3 million?
You can't make this shit up. I love this guy. He's hilarious. Around this same time, one of Hassan's fans, sees he's making a lot of money, and he asks him, he's like, what are you doing with this excessive amount of money that you're making to help the leftist causes? Let's see what Hassan's response was.
But be more transparent with your income. Nobody needs that much. What are you doing with it? How do you support left-wing politics? Very practical with your money. This notion that, like, what are you doing with your money? Dumb as fuck.
What am I doing?
Yeah, it's dumb as fuck to a person who believes that we should tax the rich, which he is, or eat the rich, which he is, right? To a socialist, it's never them. It's never about their money. It's take everyone else's money. What are you doing with your money? Well, yeah, what are you doing with the money that you're making off of these streams? If you believe in socialism, shouldn't you be giving most of it away? Shouldn't all of it be going to charities, some sort of cause that you support? Because for socialists, again, it's rules for thee, but not for me. You ever notice that in socialist countries, the socialism only applies to the poor? The people with the political power live like capitalists. They eat well, they have money, they travel, they do everything that capitalists do. But the socialism only applies to the populace. And that's how Hamas Piker sees himself. It's everyone else's money. It's taxes should pay for your housing, not the money that I make. Tax them over there, not me.
Doing with my millions of dollars to help the cause that I'm constantly shoving down everyone's throat? A cause that's supposed to be about helping the poor and financial equality? A cause that I've used to make me millions of dollars? What am I doing to help that cause with my millions of dollars? Bro, fuck you. You racist, cop-loving slave owner. Is that all the buzzwords? Transphobic.
Where could I be spending my money? It's not like I take lavish vacations for a month and then come back. I do this every single day.
Guys, I don't even spend money. I've never spent a
So because he doesn't spend money means he shouldn't be given to charity. Then the more reason to give it. You're not even using it, right? Just give it away. You're not using it. Give it away. Give it away. All you're doing is in your house all day, every day, right? Just have enough to pay your mortgage on your $3 million mansion, pay your car note on your $250,000 car, whatever other expenses you have, and everything else, give it away. Since you're not using it, you don't need it. Make sure you have some money for food.
dime. How am I supposed to spend money when I'm always here? Duh. How am I supposed to give to charity when I'm always here?
Yeah, how are you supposed to give to charity? I didn't know you had to walk with charity in person. I'm pretty sure you can donate online. Am I wrong? Can you not donate online? Because I'm pretty sure you can do that. You don't have to leave your house to do it. Or is he saying he's too busy streaming his political bullshit views to actually take the time to donate? Maybe that's what he means. I don't know.
Preaching the gospel.
So it's not like I'm, I live a secret double life where I am, blowing it all on mansions.
Literally owns a $3 million mansion, blowing his money on mansion, but he's not living a double life. I wonder if his fans, people that are watching him at that point, if they actually know that he has a $3 million mansion. Because there's no way you can say that to your viewers unironically without them knowing that you actually have a $3 million mansion. There's in a $250,000 car. There's no fucking way.
Now sub up, dumbass. I know I make millions of dollars just sitting in my room bullshitting. But look, we're all the same. Me and my $4 million mansion, and you working 15 hours on the Amazon Beltline. We're both Jeff Bezos' bitch. Neither of us have control over the means of production. I mean, well, I do because I actually own my business, and my employees definitely don't have any ownership in my main shit, and they damn sure aren't getting any sort of profit sharing or anything like that. That would be stupid.
Are you paying a percentage or something proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators.
Yes.
Lies.
So you're paying moderators.
He literally doesn't. I've covered this in another reaction video I did on the Willie Max video reaction that I did. He doesn't pay moderators. He doesn't pay anybody. He doesn't even pay his editors. I have another channel, right? Another YouTube channel unrelated to commentary. That's probably why I don't tag it, but maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll link it from my page, but I don't edit the videos for that channel. I have to pay my editors to do that. I edit the ones on here because it's pretty easy for me to do, and I kind of have a vision of what I want. So I do it according to what I'm looking for. But my other channel, I have to pay editors. People don't work for me for free. It doesn't happen. It's never happened and probably will never happen. Even if somebody wanted to work for free for me, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I respect people too much and their time for me to steal from them, essentially, by having them work for free. That's why, you know, unrelated to what we're talking about, but that's why I don't believe in unpaid internships. A lot of people say, "Well, the experience is your payment." Well, the experience doesn't pay my fucking bills. The experience doesn't fucking pay my goddamn mortgage. The experience doesn't pay my car note. The experience doesn't buy me food. The experience does nothing for me. Well, it does something for me, right? It teaches me certain things that I need to learn about a certain job that I want to get into if I want to get into a certain field. But experience doesn't fill your stomach, and experience doesn't put a roof over your head. Money does.
Moderators or head of moderation.
No, not editors and not moderators.
Why?
So who does he pay? Not editors, not moderators. So who is he paying? Because what else would you need? Mods for your stream and editors for your channels. I mean, I guess a manager, right? Maybe a channel manager or just a manager in general, right? A talent manager and a what do you call that? Probably a virtual assistant. Let's be real, he's probably hiring somebody from Thailand or the Philippines for $3 an hour.
Do men lie so much?
I know I'm constantly demonizing everybody who does the exact same thing as I do, but, you know, just don't pay attention to that, because that would make me seem like a hypocritical asshole. And that's not fair to me, because I'm the victim. Duh. And if you disagree, you're racist, or a fascist, or something. Get off my dick, broke bitch. The way this man can dodge accountability like an Asian man in a dodgeball game is honestly one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. But hey, you know, millions of people preach one thing and do another. It's funny to make fun of somebody for doing that, but they're not like a detriment on society, you know? It's not like he's radicalizing an audience bigger than the BBC, pause. That would be fucked up. That would be bad. It's a good thing he's not doing that.
Yeah.
Just kidding,
exactly
he is, ha ha ha. I mean, his audience is the same people that are talking about how evil Fox News is, right? And hey, you're not gonna get any arguments from me, but I would argue that Hassan is on the same level, if not worse, than Fox News. R.I.P. Tuck. See, Hassan, my best friend, is known to have an audience that is batshit crazy. Hassan is gonna have the most progressive take on every single topic known to man, and anybody who doesn't agree with him to the molecular level is a bigoted.
That's true. This is a guy who literally tells a trans person, you are just a fucking trans person, when this trans person had a different view than he does. You don't know anything about the fucking issues. You're just a fucking trans person. Just dismisses him like that. And there was another time, like I mentioned in the last reaction video I did about Hassan, where Hassan literally wished a trans person who had different views than he did, wished him a miserable life. Why? Because this person did not 100% agree with Hamas and his view. You have to agree with him on everything, or else you are his mortal enemy. That is how Hamas operates.
Piece of shit. You could have trans friends, love trans people, hell, even be trans, but maybe you just have a few questions about trans women playing sports with cis women. You are a transphobic piece of shit, and you should be sent to the gulag.
Even if trans women were completely dominating certain fields of sport, the only reason why you would consider that to be completely inappropriate and unnatural is if you think trans women are unnatural.
They're literally unnatural. They literally have to get surgery to quote unquote become women. It's literally not natural. Let's not even make it about a trans issue, but a woman who goes and gets plastic surgery and gets some new tits literally no longer has natural tits. Those are unnatural tits. They're silicone-based tits, the definition of unnatural. Same thing for a woman that goes and gets a BBL, or a man who goes gets ab implants. That's not natural. So that's literally the definition of not natural. They're not natural. So yes, it's not natural, Hamas.
And that's it. And that is where transphobia comes from. Transphobia, transphobic.
During the Kyle Rittenhouse case, it was 100% impossible for it to be self-defense no matter what you saw in the video, because Republicans are bloodthirsty animals and they just want to get the legal kill.
Imagine risking your life for someone else's property. I mean, he wasn't even like technically risking his life. He was trying to get a legal kill. Like, that's what he was trying to do, and he got it. The greatest thing that could have happened to internet conservatives is this, because this is their fantasy. This is like the psychopathic, bloodthirsty fantasies that they've all had, okay?
Says the guy who literally laughs about cops being shot and who says that cops should commit more seppuku, or, you know, the S word. He literally says, let's get these numbers up when it comes to cops ending themselves. Yeah, the bloodthirsty people are the Republicans who have a fantasy of killing others. Says the guy who wants all landlords dead on the streets because they happen to own property.
Very healthy way at looking at half of the population. I guarantee just because I said that, Hassan's fans think I'm some self-hating coon out here tap dancing for the white man. Just because I watched the video and I'm like, yeah, I mean, he was running away. Probably shouldn't have been there, but he was running away. They assume I hate black people, love all cops, love police shootings, all that. And it's Hassan and people like him that perpetuate this all or nothing mentality. Oh, if you say this one thing, these are all your thoughts. If you believe this one thing, you're a part of this much larger hate.
Yeah, it's pretty binary. It's just, you're either with them or against them. There's no in between with the left and these leftist goons. Like, you either, again, believe 100% everything that they believe in, no matter how crazy it may sound, or you are against them. And it has to be every single thing. You can agree with 99.9% of the things in the group, and if you disagree with that 0.01%, you are no longer part of the group. You are canceled. You are done.
Full group. It's just divisive nonsense, and the only thing it does is divide us even more as a country. Especially when you're saying things like all Republicans are bloodthirsty animals that just want to get the legal kill. What is that actually doing to help anything? Especially when you're the one with the very public bloodthirsty history.
There's a study where it says that, you know, more cops actually die from suicide, I don't know, than gunfire and on the line of duty deaths.
What are you getting at?
Nothing. I'm just saying, you know, let's get those numbers up, baby.
These people are insane. They want you to ignore and dispute any sort of evidence that doesn't align with their philosophical beliefs. That's what people in cults do. This is not healthy. Please stop. Please stop. And of course, most recently, if you weren't 100% convinced that Israel did that hospital bombing, you are a genocidal, monstrous scumbag.
Terrible that the people died, but I encourage you to look into where Hamas was firing. You fucking piece of shit! You garbage, monstrous scumbag! You garbage, monstrous scumbag! You said IDF didn't bomb the hospital, and then you said it did, but Hamas was firing rockets from it in the...
It was hilarious when this came out because Hamas here was acting like a ballistic expert on stream. Like, oh, look at the sound of this. This is a JDAM, and then listen to the sound of this. This is also a JDAM. So this 100% came from Israel because I am the ballistics expert based off of videos that I'm watching and news that I'm getting from Twitter. And that's literally how he, quote unquote, confirmed that Israel bombed the hospital with no proof. It was just, well, his proof was a tweet from an unverified account on Twitter. That was his on the ground news reporting that he got from Twitter, saying that Israel did something when no one knew what happened just yet to Hamas here. Israel 100% did it. And then it turned out that it was actually the actual group Hamas that actually bombed the hospital. So that's who Hamas Piker is.
The same 2-minute time frame. So why did you fucking lie at first?
I think most adults would agree that this is just a clown being performative and trying his best to virtue signal. But to a Hassan fan, this is, I don't know. I don't fully understand.
Yeah, don't you know that they actually believe that he does on-the-ground reporting? He's risking his life every day from his $3 million mansion to do on-the-ground news reporting, and he does a better job than, he would say, 90% of journalistic entities. And that he has a higher standard of fact checking, even though his standard is literally tweets on Twitter that agree with his worldview. That is his on the ground news reporting. He risked his life by going on the trenches of Twitter every day. That's how Hassan reports on the ground.
And yet how they keep falling for this dumb shit. But either way, they believe it, and they're just as hateful, spiteful, and unforgiving as he. So that's why it was so funny to me when Hassan was discussing the Israel-Palestine conflict with Ethan Klein, his very pro-Palestine Jewish co-host, that Ethan, even after October 7th, when obviously thousands of innocent Israelis were killed by Hamas, Ethan still wanted to make it very clear that he was very empathetic to the Palestinian plight, and that he even understood why Hamas would do what they did. Obviously, he wasn't justifying Hamas's actions, but he's just saying like he understands how the oppression of the Palestinian people could lead to something like this. And obviously, so far, Hassan's on board. But when Ethan goes to condemn the actions of Hamas, or wants to call out the callous and evil responses that he's seeing from people online, what does Hassan do? He's either pretending he can't see, he's playing with his dog, or he's giving whataboutisms. For those who don't know, whataboutisms is a technique or practice of responding to an accusation or difficult question by making a counter accusation or raising a different issue. So basically it's like, I'm not making any concessions without bringing up some other shit. For example, let's say I go over to your house for Thanksgiving dinner and I flip over the table because your mom's stuffing is trash. And you turn to me and you say, hey man, that wasn't nice. Could you please apologize and maybe even help me clean up all this macaroni and cheese off of the ground? I mean, come on, look at all this food you just wasted. And I'm like, I do understand that it's frowned upon to waste food. We agree on. But what about Walmart, an American conglomerate that wastes thousands of pounds of food every single year because of the capitalist system that we're all a slave to? Did you ever think about that? You get it. Obviously, the topics were a lot more serious during that discussion, but that's basically what Hassan was doing anytime it got to any sort of sympathy for Israel. Because that's what Hassan does. If something doesn't fit his America bad narrative, he either won't acknowledge it or he'll say it's racist. Which is ironic for somebody who's so openly racist, but you know, whatever.
Horny, Westoid, Angloid-brained, disgusting filth. Disgusting filth, dude. Eurocentrist trash.
You dumb cracker bitch.
I guess it's a
I don't get it. Isn't Hassan is Turkish? Last I checked, Turkey was in Europe, right? Am I wrong? Can somebody tell me if I'm wrong in the comments? And Hassan looks pretty white to me, so I'm pretty sure he has some European blood in him. So wouldn't that make him the thing that he despises? I don't know. I don't know.
okay, because like sometimes he calls himself white and then sometimes he's Turkish.
Look at that. Sometimes he calls himself white. Sometimes he looks white. He looks like a white dude. I mean, you can kind of see the Middle Eastern or Arab features, but he's pretty white. And Turkey is in Europe. They're not part of the European Union, but it's in Europe, I believe.
Sometimes he's American, sometimes he's not. You know, it's like whatever's convenient for him, he just kind of picks and chooses because he's a piece of shit with no backbone, but you know, whatever. People can say Hassan cares so much because of the mistreatment of the Palestinian people, and I really do hope that's true. But Hassan clearly picks and chooses when he wants to care about people's sovereignty. When it comes to Israel-Palestine, he's on the Palestinian people's side 1000%. But when it comes to Taiwan and China, you know, hey, as Americans, that's not our business.
What should the US be doing about the Taiwanese conflict? Shut the fuck up about it and don't rock the boat.
Foreign policy? Hassan would never.
How do we feel about Taiwan, Hassan? China or not
Taiwan?
China? Or is it China or not China?
That's the American policy. Whatever the American policy is, whatever the American
What's
perspective
your
is.
opinion? You really won't say?
No, I'm saying it's like one country, two systems. You know?
No, it's not. It's two different countries.
Really?
And before Hassan's
Taiwan is a
dumbass
different
fans start running their mouth, I do understand that the Taiwan and China issue and the Israel and Palestine issue are not one-to-one. But I would assume a socialist like Hassan, somebody who cares so much about human rights, would care all of the time, not only when it goes against what the American government is saying. But as
But that's his whole shtick. I mean, a lot of these socialists, they literally they hate America and therefore, you know, in Western values. So anything that, you know, to that extent, anything that has to do with Western, power. They hate it. They just hate anything that's America. They believe that America is a colonialist power who came about in the worst ways and is irredeemable. So anything that goes against America, they're all for it. It doesn't matter what it is.
As I was saying earlier, unfortunately for Ethan, he did not get any concessions or empathy from his BFF Hassan, but
why would he? Why would he? What I find interesting is that Hassan literally hating Jews and knowing that Ethan is Jewish. I'm actually kind of confused how they became friends, and maybe it's because of the ideology, right? They both believe the same thing. I mean, we all see how radical Hassan is in terms of the issues, but they both have left-leaning views, and maybe that's what brought them together. But you'd figure somebody like Hassan, who calls Israeli babies occupiers, would hate somebody like...
He did get a nice little hate brigade from his fan base and moderators, calling him every single kind of racist, bigoted, he hates brown people, he hates Palestinians, all this crazy shit, even though this man was literally crying over the Palestinian plight on this same podcast.
Dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old. And he was like patting her on the back and saying like his final goodbye. I mean, he's holding her like she's alive, like he's just burping her or something. I didn't expect to get emotional about that, but like, I'm a new dad and that shit really fucks me up.
And Hassan doing Hassan things, taking a vulnerable moment where your friend is crying and using that as an opportunity, again, to shit on America.
The feelings that you...
And what's crazy? I think it might have been that same stream. He started fake crying about this Palestinian chick or whatever. I guess to try and garner like sympathy points. But it was like obviously fake crying. There was no tears. There was no emotion. It was just so fake. It was so cringe, like it was bad. It was like he was trying to one up to try and seem like sympathetic to a cause. And he was crying about a Palestinian girl. He wasn't even sad about any of the Jews, of the 1,200 Jews that got killed or whatever. He didn't cry about that. He didn't cry about the, all the atrocities that happened on October 7th. But that's beside the point.
Are demonstrating here, and the empathy that you're demonstrating and showing towards Palestinians is unfortunately not represented by our administration, and it's not represented by our media.
The people need to hear the truth. America bad. I don't know if you've heard, but it kind of sucks over here. Well, in total fairness, Hassan is a dumbass, so I guess I shouldn't be expecting anything rational from him, right? I mean, this was the podcast where Hassan referred to infants as baby settlers.
There you go. It was settlers, not occupiers. Babies are settlers.
Obfuscate. Okay, I understand what you're saying. But this dude just called babies militants.
No, I understand. And there are baby settlers as well. But there are baby settlers as well. There are babies in the settlements.
This is where...
Yeah, they're babies. They kind of don't have a choice. But this is how Hassan views the Jews. Like, they're all evil. It doesn't matter if they're a baby. The mere fact that they're Jewish means they're evil.
We're at in this country. It's pretty sad. Baby settlers, really? But obviously, Ethan is the one with the problem here. It's not Hassan's fans who are constantly asking for the death of people, and it's definitely not Hassan, the same person that was laughing maniacally as a woman was getting shot multiple times and attacked by a dog.
Oh my God! Watch out! Are you okay? No, you shot me! Oh God! Are you okay?
That same guy who like I said earlier, laughs at cops being shot and wants cops to commit more suicide. This is that guy, Mr. Socialism, Mr. He's all for the workers' rights and people.
How could one man care so much? Like, wow. See, this behavior is 100% justified because that lady was a cop and those babies were settlers. Baby settlers, but still settlers. So, have fun in the afterlife, you know? You made your choice. Colonizer-ass babies? Remember, Hassan's fans are just empathetic leftists that want the best for the worker. He doesn't have the right to the means of production. Come on, that's empathy. Random side note, I don't feel bad for Ethan. I think people should but it's not gonna be me, okay? Because
Yeah, I don't feel bad for
I'm
Ethan either.
standing, Ethan is the guy whose friend is over there pickpocketing every single person in the local town, and he's just watching him do it, laughing away, and then when he comes back and pickpockets his dumbass, he's like, what happened? It's like, bitch, where have you been? Aren't you the same guy that shitted on half of the people on this platform, but you don't have 35 seconds to look up how shitty your co-host is? Are you a dumbass? What kind of sense does that make? I don't feel bad for people who do stupid shit like that. But this video is not about you, it's about your dumbass friend, so let's move on. Now, I've been talking a lot of shit, clearly, but in fairness, I've been tuning into Hassan's streams, I've been watching his videos at full length.
Yo, full credit to this guy, Kamal, man. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But I couldn't sit through a Hamas Piker stream, man. I'd end up suicidal. I mean, I guess that's what he would want, right? Because I ideologically, I oppose him, so.
As painful and cringe as they are. Just because I don't want to do the exact same thing Hassan does, which is start with a narrative, that narrative being Hassan is a piece of shit, and only watch content that supports that narrative. Otherwise, I'm no better than him. Honestly, I think I would still be better than him, but you know, just in case. But there is one video that I do want to talk about because it was hilarious. Now, the video is called One of the Poorest Places in America. It's a video where this guy goes around to these old mining towns, interviewing people and showing everyone just how fucked these towns really are. Now, how do you think Hassan's going to react? Do you think he's going to be A, tactful, show emotion, be empathetic, B, be a judgmental asshole and jump to conclusions and be wrong most of the time, or C, actually do it? No, I'm kidding. Obviously.
Yeah,
there's a massive crisis in rural healthcare that goes even beyond affordability. They just don't have it. We're talking areas where people go to the vet for healthcare, okay?
I did a little bit of research, not a
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of people going to the dog doctor or human healthcare, but
lot, so I could have missed it, but a little. And I didn't see anything about people going to a vet because of lack of infrastructure for hospitals. And also, what kind of city would have the infrastructure for a hospital for
a
their
dog,
dogs, but not for people?
Right.
That just seems like stupid.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Why would I? Oh, guys, we don't have a hospital here. I don't know where we're gonna get healthcare, but you know what we can do? Since we don't have a hospital here, let's build one for our dogs. That'll fix the problem.
Maybe he's being hyperbolic. Maybe I just missed it. I crack jokes all the time, so we're gonna keep it pushing.
How about in Welsh right now? Is it a close community? People,
oh yeah,
pretty tight?
Yeah, it's pretty tight here. Everybody looks out for one another, you know. To get out of here, this town, you know, everybody's so many different walks of life.
Bro, I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss people off right now. But even like a sense of community being fostered here and less police presence in this town, and also the ability to be able to get your social security and other government amenities that allows people to survive is yet another fucking indication of white supremacy in certain
Of course it's white. Of course it's white supremacy. It's always white supremacy. These people literally live in the shitter, in the shits. They're struggling. It's bad. And obviously, it's because of white supremacy. These people live horrible lives. I don't want to say horrible, right? But they're poor. They're very poor white people who have nothing. And that's somehow in Hassan's eyes because of white supremacy and white privilege. Of course.
These people are not privileged by any means, but white privilege.
You just said that.
Is still a very real reality because the black equivalent of this is so much fucking worse because on top of that, you literally have an oppressive occupying force constantly breathing down.
Who's the oppressive occupying force on black people? What, just the country in general? So everyone should just leave the United States and just leave black people to be?
Down your fucking neck and constantly.
Never mind the fact that poll after poll shows black communities actually want more cops, not less. But this is that occupying force that Hassan is talking about. Only these well-off, gated community fucking limousine liberals will tell you, let's defund the police. Let's get rid of cops in these communities. Meanwhile, the people that actually live in these communities tell you they want more cops. Because people like Hassan, dumbasses like Hassan, don't realize that when you get rid of the cops in the area, then the people that live in those areas are affected and the crime rate goes up. So you inadvertently actually end up hurting these people instead of actually helping them. But a guy who lives in a $3 million mansion wouldn't know that. A guy who hates the cops but would probably have no problem calling them if somebody broke into his house is going to tell you that we need to get rid of the cops in lower income communities. This is how these people think. It's fucking sick.
Trying to get you in trouble and harassing you on a daily basis.
You see these poor ass white people looking like Far Cry 5 characters, and your dumbass thinks now is the time to bring up white privilege. This is droid behavior. Poor white American male does not fit narrative. Does not fit narrative. Must say something fucking stupid to my chat. Processing. Processing. These people are poor as fuck, but at least they're not black. Hassan, you're so smart. You killed that shit, and your head is normal sized. Oh, I love making YouTube videos. It is so much fun. This is obviously forced and performative, and as a black African-American Negro,
I don't think so. I think he actually believes that shit. I honestly believe that Hassan, there's no way that you can be that evil and just be pretending to be that evil.
bro. Don't know if you noticed. It's weird. Please stop using us to get your virtue signal points. It's disgusting.
So whatever policies support coal, you're gonna vote for that guy.
Yep, Trump for the coal.
Yeah.
And Jim Justice for the coal, you know.
Yeah.
And if we get somebody in there want to go windmills or gas, everybody be out of job around here.
Yeah.
If this guy was black, I wouldn't doubt they would have different responses. Yeah, no shit. I didn't say that they're like the most non-problematic people. Yeah, dude. The fucking guy living in a shed on the side of fucking gravel road in West Virginia where he doesn't have access to the internet all the time is not the most woke person. That's crazy. Think about how less susceptible to radicalization you are, less susceptible to radicalization you are, less susceptible to radicalization you are.
But there are baby settlers as well. There are babies in the settlements.
And then think about your material conditions, your way of existence, your day-to-day activities in whatever fucking town you live in, okay?
Less susceptible to radicalization, huh? That's so interesting. I guess since you live in a city, you're smarter. It's impossible for a narcissistic hypocrite to come along, pretend to be your friend, convince you that the frustrations in your life aren't your fault, and radicalize you into watching them all the time, saying hurtful shit and demonizing every single person with a slightly differing opinion. I'm so glad that would never happen to you guys, because that would be a tragedy. Wow.
So all those nice houses coming into Grundy from West Virginia, who are those people? Coal, old money stuff, or?
Some of them. I mean, and then you have, you know, your school teachers. They live in some of the nicer homes.
So this is a place where the school teacher can live in a nice home.
Oh yeah. You just.
Bro, I'm sorry. I do not. Like, what? Dude, no. This guy's not delivering you factually accurate information.
Yes, because Hassan would know, because he's been there. He would know, because he's been there. He's lived there. He knows the reality. These people they don't live there. They don't know the reality in their neighborhoods. It goes back to the same thing about the fucking cops in the black neighborhoods where, oh, these people that are asking for more cops, they're not giving you factual information. We actually need less cops, not more. Even though these people are begging for more cops because of the crime. So a person that's actually living in that situation isn't giving you what they see every single day. It's not factual. According to Hassan, the information they're giving you is not factual. But Hassan from his $3 million mansion actually knows, even though he's never been there. He has the actual factual information.
The irony of a self-proclaimed propagandist, somebody that has 10,000 videos of them being wrong over and over and over again, like a dumbass. Yeah, I know you live in this town, you probably grew up in this town, but you don't know the people who live in that house. I know I'm too fucking stupid to use the internet, but you don't know what kind of people live in that house. Idiot. So yeah, I took like 4 seconds and Googled it, and nice houses are like 80,000 to like 200. There's plenty in the 100s, plenty below 100. So yeah, this is what people are talking about when they say Hassan doesn't do any research and just talks out of his ass.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
know
do
this
any
one's a
research.
bit more trivial trivial, but he does this with everything. Because if there's cheap houses that government workers can afford, then America not evil, and America evil. If it doesn't fit the Hassan narrative, then it's not real. Because his loser-ass fan base needs excuses to complain. And finally, it's like a light went off in my head. I realized that's what Hassan's job is. It's not to spread the news or spread socialism or even be entertaining. Hassan is kind of like the opposite of Tony Robbins.
Every day I demand more for myself than anybody else could possibly expect.
Instead of like selling you a dream that you can make it and be successful, he just gives you reasons of why your life sucks. I'm pretty sure that's why his audience allows him to avoid accountability the way that they do, because they don't want accountability either. And if Hassan's accountable, so are they. They're like, I want to call myself a socialist while doing absolutely nothing too.
For the
That
cause,
way I
right?
can
Nothing
act
for
like
the
I
cause.
care about humanity and virtue signal while still being a complete piece of shit. That's why they go to bat for him so hard.
That's socialist in a nutshell. They virtual signal. They care about people until you disagree with them, and it's never take my money. It's take others people's money to fund my wishes.
Even when it doesn't make sense. Because if they didn't, then they'd have to look in the mirror and realize that they're losers. It is a bit sad and disgusting, but as an empath, I feel for you. To wrap this video up, I'm gonna say some shit that a lot of people are not gonna like, but I don't care. As a red-blooded American, it bothers me that we have Hassan, an super baby rich kid who grew up in Turkey, idolizing our culture.
I'm a bit of a marabou, like a weeb for America.
Couldn't get off our dick, has this singular job of shitting on America. And I'm not even trying to be like, oh, you're not from here, so you need to go.
This is why I think America is the greatest country on earth, because you can literally come to America from, I don't want to call it, well, Turkey is a shithole. Let's be real here. You can come from a shithole, become a millionaire here, shitting on the country that made you a millionaire.
Go back home.
If he did that shit in Turkey, I guarantee you that fucker would have been in jail a long time ago.
Oh, but I think I've proved today that his only train of thought is America bad. He doesn't even have any sort of solutions. I mean, this is a grown-ass man and
because why would you have solutions to problems? This is the problem that I think, this is the problem with charities too, right? Or 501c3s, whatever, nonprofits. If you solve the problem, then there is no need for the charity. So why would you look for solutions when the solutions just stop bringing you money? So why would Hassan try to solve the problem when if the problem is solved, then there is nothing for him to bitch about anymore. So there's no money for him to make. He would have to change his whole fucking persona. There is no incentive to solve the problem or to offer solutions. The only incentive is to bitch and moan about the problems or what you deem are problems so you can make more money off of your stupid fans.
In his 30s, who calls himself a socialist, talks about socialism all day to demonize people, but doesn't even have the basic solution of how to hire people when it comes to implementing socialism.
Here's where this seems more like it's a nice theory, but like in application it makes no sense. Who decides how much value he's brought? How could you possibly decide that? If my show is growing, Dan joins, and let's say, yeah, I now I'm making $15, but the show was organically growing. How can I attribute all 5 of that to Dan?
You're absolutely correct on this as well. This is a big weakness.
50-50 with him?
This is something that I do not have an answer for either, which is why, like I said, you make do with, you try to do your very best.
Can I be, this seems like a big problem to say you don't have a solution for. If
for hiring employees, yeah. You don't know how to do hiring. That seems to be a pretty, and this is the whole central part of your theory is better employment. That's a pretty big issue. Like,
to me, it's clear that you're not here to actually give advice. You're not here to bring actual solutions. The only thing you use socialism for is to shit on American capitalism, which you moved here to benefit from in every single way you can. You're a bigger capitalist than 99.9% of Americans. You clown bitch. He clearly doesn't care about actual change. He told you himself.
And I tweeted my complaints about it. Like, I'm just complaining about Canon specs. And this person in the comments shows up, why aren't you building the revolution? I feel like you and Hassan could pool your resources and viewers together. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm a guy with a laptop and internet connection and some opinions. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, my favorite is when someone who thinks that they're like social democrat even, but like really they're just fucking neoliberal, will come and be like, Hassan, why don't you start a super PAC? Like bring about socialism in America? And I'm like, I don't think a single billionaire could even do that
Yeah.
And that motherfucker has billions. And
So nothing.
So yeah, right. So because you think somebody else can't do it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. You should just bitch about the system and bitch, and then maybe hope it'll change someday. That's exactly what Hassan is hoping for. He's hoping for somebody else to either do it or just bitch, and then hope for the system to magically change. Because it's all magic for these people. Again, they think that money grows on trees. The fairy fucking godmother prints money. And that's why we should tax everybody and everything should be free. Because everyone deserves everything without having to do nothing for it.
So there's just nothing? Or what is the... I like how they laugh at the idea of doing something.
He's here to bullshit around. But his bullshitting is actually making this country worse. Now, I'm not saying this country is perfect or anything close to perfect.
It's not.
But when all you've done is benefit from being in America, but you make your entire identity shitting on it and the people that are born here, yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Sorry, I'm not one of these self-hating losers that looks up to you. And hey, maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like anyone with an ounce of love for their own country will understand where I'm coming. If you guys made it to the end, I really do appreciate you. And if you
Yeah, so that's pretty much what the video is. Again, Hassan, like I've always said, Hassan is a piece of shit. I've got a video coming out about Mama Max next, and that one's gonna be real good. Because again, I make these videos on these people. I give an opinion in how I think they're a bad person just off of one thing that I see them do, right? And maybe that's not the right way to go about it. Then it turns out that I'm right. And I was right about Mama Max. And I'll show you guys the example in the next video when I do the reaction. But yeah, enough about Mama Max. There's really not much else to say about Hamas Piker than he is an actual evil, hypocritical person who hates the country that's made him successful the way that he is, because I guarantee you that there is no way he's making this kind of money in Turkey. And there is no way he's in Turkey talking about Turkey the way that he talks about America here in America. Because Erdogan would have probably had him in fucking prison already, if not dead. Let's be honest, because Erdogan is a dictator and that's how shit is in Turkey, unfortunately. So it must be nice to be Hassan, be a millionaire who can hate on the country that made you successful. But I get it. It's because there are a lot of self-hating Americans who are willing to give you their last dime because you hate America just like them. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe and like the video. Peace.